This is a video of the Applied Neuroscience Incorporated's Brain Surfer program that runs inside of the NeuroGuide software. In this case, we're looking at a surface projection of sources of the EEG onto the neocortical surface in a patient with right hemisphere damage. The red colors indicate 2 standard deviations or more of deviant electrical activity with respect to a normal population, age-matched normal population, in the dorsal attention network. We can rotate the brain and see that actually there is very little activity that's deviant from normal in the left hemisphere, which is not an injured part of the brain. And we can zoom in if we wish to examine more details of the deviation from normal as in terms of the gyri and sulci of the brain. We can zoom back out. We can also look at the nodes that, or the Brodmann areas that constitute nodes of the dorsal attention network and examine them in detail. In this case, it's with a 100% transparency. We can make that less transparent by changing it slightly. And then, of course, we can zoom in and zoom out of the nodes that are deviant from normal of this network involved in attention. We also have the ability to look at the connectivity between the nodes that comprise the dorsal attention network. In this case, we're looking at coherence of that same network. And we can also, of course, zoom in on that network as well and evaluate it in greater detail. The goal here in biofeedback is for the patient to make that network equal to white color, so it's within the range of the normal population and it's not deviant. Here we isolate the dorsal attention network by itself and bring back the brain if we wish, and also then go back to the surface to evaluate again the projection of the sources of the EEG onto the cortical surface. We can also select different networks in the brain, including the addiction network, the anxiety network, the default mode network, the mood network, pain network, pleasure network, schizophrenia network, working memory, the interconnectivity networks, Hegman hubs, and other networks that are available. Here's an example of the default network in this patient, where we now have a projection onto the cortical surface. Again, the left hemisphere is normal. Right hemisphere, where the injury to the brain occurred, is deviant from normal. We can go in and look at the nodes if we wish. And we, of course, can zoom in onto the default network. And then we can look at coherence of that network as well. And this is the interconnections between the default nodes of the default network. And then we go back to the surface projection of the deviant electrical activity in that part of the brain. This is the Brain Surfer program, and it will be released soon along with other new features, but this is a heads up on a new procedure, particularly the projection of the sources onto the neocortical surface.